Kakashi was at utter loss of words right now. Not only did Naruto went and battled a trained Jinchuriki of IWA, but managed to defeat him with a jutsu that Kakashi only heard tales about. The fight in the Valley of the End between Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha was something that the whole shinobi world wouldn't forget. It was said that the destruction of the jutsu they both used and their fight has formed the valley there. Such kind of power is something that no person could imagine. That is where the two shinobis stood in terms of sheer strength and power in their days. Madara Uchiha, the strongest Uchiha ever to live, was someone who was at the apex of his clan's famed visual prowess, the Sharingan. He was able to use his Sharingan to its fullest extent and was able to wipe out shinobi forces in mere seconds when he stood for Konoha along with Hashirama. The most famed fire jutsu of his, the Gokumikyaku no Jutsu, was said to be the strongest fire jutsu the elemental nations have ever seen. He was able to annihilate a complete force of frontline shinobi with his jutsu. He single-handedly killed hundreds of shinobi with that jutsu. Those raging flames of fire went and annihilated all of those shinobis, and this made the jutsu to be the most fabled of his. The sheer amount of chakra required to a jutsu on that level of scale was something people never could imagine. But here is Kakashi, who has seen it on a battlefield. His own student used a jutsu of that scale on their enemy, completely annihilating him and leaving the forest around them in complete ashes. What exactly is Naruto? Is he really a 13-year-old fresh genin? How strong is he? Questions aroused on everyone's mind. To say that all of them were astonished or surprised about the fight that happened in front of them was an understatement. Naruto literally whipped the Jinchuriki's ass out. As everyone was in their own thoughts, Naruto walked over to them. Since Naruto has sustained heavy injuries on his left side part of chest and the right part of the leg, he walked slowly towards his team. "That hurts like hell, my chest feels as if it is on some sort of fire," yelled Naruto mentally. He slowly reached out towards his sensei. He didn't even have the energy to stand by himself anymore. His body was exhausted from the fight he had. He felt that it was sheer luck that he even survived that fight. The last jutsu he pulled off, he kept every ounce of the chakra in him. Naruto on his part never expected the amount of destruction that jutsu could do. Yes, he did practice that jutsu very much. But its destruction level was never on this level of scale when he finally did it. Perhaps it was due to the amount of chakra he gave and due to the adrenaline that was running in his body. Flashback, few days before Wave Mission. Naruto and Sasuke were in the Uchiha clan compound's library. Both of them were right now seeing a jutsu scroll and were quite intrigued about what they were reading. They found this new fire jutsu that is said to be once used by the strongest Uchiha. It was called Gokumikyaku no Jutsu, which means majestic flames. According to the scroll they read in this jutsu requires an awful amount of chakra to make it effective. The user who casts this jutsu needs to sharply produce flames from his mouth by coating chakra around it and increasing its momentum gradually that causes it to spread into huge flames. The true level of destruction this jutsu causes is capable of annihilating a complete forest. It was capable of burning down a whole bunch of frontline enemy shinobis. But apparently this jutsu needs Kage-level chakra to cause this level of destruction. After reading the whole thing about the jutsu, Naruto tilted towards Sasuke. "Hey Sasuke, how about we both learn this jutsu? I mean, sure, we don't have the chakra reserves of a Kage, but yet I think we have pretty decent amounts to use it to cause a fair amount of destruction in battle," asked Naruto excitedly. Naruto was really the ninjutsu type and was always willing and excited to learn new jutsus. Same was with Sasuke, but the competition he had with Naruto was driving him more towards getting stronger. Sasuke gave a nod and sat up from the table. Naruto beamed and got a bit more excited. "Yes, let's go and see if we can perform this jutsu," said Sasuke in his usual monotone voice, and then Naruto too sat up and quickly went out of the library into the clan's training grounds. Sasuke came towards into the clearing and Naruto was right behind him. As Sasuke got into the clearing, both shinobi stood there calm as the wind around them bristled their cheeks. Naruto took a step forward and closed his eyes. Concentrate on my breathing, then spew fire sharply from my mouth, put lot of chakra. You can do this, Naruto, said Naruto to himself. Naruto then took deep breath and then started the jutsu. He started to spew fire from his mouth and then opened his mouth to see. He saw only a small flame coming out of his mouth. Naruto quickly hung his head over and the clouds formed over his head. He started to sulk. Sasuke contained the laughter he was getting. It was hilarious. One moment Naruto was all serious and was expecting a huge fire, but all they could see was small flames from his mouth. Naruto tried once again. Take a deep breath and control your breath, Naruto. You can do this, thought Naruto once again. He did the same thing once again and tried once more. Yet the result remained the same. There were only few flames once again coming from his mouth. Naruto was disappointed again, but he didn't decide to give up. He kept trying the jutsu again and again only to keep failing. Sasuke stood beside him watching him trying and failing in the jutsu. He then took a step forward and did the same thing as the scroll said, control your breath, spew the fire sharply from his mouth, apply large amounts of chakra. Sasuke then spewed fire from his mouth. But even he was able to produce only small flames. He didn't understand what's going wrong. It was like he was practicing the fireball jutsu his father taught him when he was small. Similar to today, even on that day he was able to produce small flames on his first attempts. He went on to do the jutsu again and again only to get exhausted after a finite number of attempts due to his smaller chakra reserves compared to Naruto. He could only attempt to do this jutsu like about 20 times in about 2 hours. Yet he didn't progress much. The smaller flames got only a little bit farther than compared to his first attempt. He then realized something. It struck his brain. This jutsu requires enormous amount of chakra, and we need to spew fire sharply out of our mouth while we control our breathing. The jutsu turns into majestic flames only after it reaches a certain distance as it spreads from the intense compression we did in our mouth. That is how it works. But until now we never thought of compressing it, thought Sasuke. He then walked towards the field once again and decided to do the jutsu one last time again. He closed his eyes, concentrated on his breathing as he started to use his chakra to bring out fire sharply from his mouth, but this time he is going to compress it and then release it. He had got the fire to his mouth as he compressed it and then released it out sharply out of his mouth. He kept doing that and then opened his eyes after a few seconds. He was surprised that what he thought came out to be true. His guess was right. Compared to before, the jutsu has increased by leaps. He was now seeing a descent size of flames engulfing the training dummies in front of him. There was a prideful smile on Sasuke's face. He finally found a way to do it. As he realized that, he stopped the flames from his mouth and called of the jutsu. He had spent enough chakra in this session. He was at his end. Naruto was now surprised. He didn't understand how the hell did Sasuke manage to get the jutsu so quick. He couldn't comprehend it. He then walked towards Sasuke a bit pensively and got to him with few steps. Sasuke was currently panting and trying to catch his breath as he knelt down. Naruto walked towards him. Wow! Sasuke, you did the jutsu. Hell, how did you manage to do it? I am still able to make only small flames, said Naruto. He was obviously surprised now. He wanted to desperately learn that jutsu too. Sasuke sat up from his knelt down position and then looked as he faced Naruto. We need to compress the fire when we release it from our mouth, or else it won't reach farther how much ever chakra we spend on it, said Sasuke in his usual monotone voice. Gears started to run inside Naruto's mind. He realized what Sasuke meant when he said, Naruto quickly got up and went into the clearing once more and decided to do the jutsu once again. He still had a lot of chakra in him. He could keep going at this all day if he wants to. Naruto closed his eyes and tried to control his breathing. Control my breathing, bring in the fire to my mouth, and then compress it, release it sharply, Naruto said to himself mentally. He then followed the steps for the jutsu. He took a deep breath and then let out flames out of his mouth sharply. He slowly opened one of his eyes to see bigger flames than before. But he was disappointed. Those flames were smaller in comparison to Sasuke's. Sasuke was smirking right now. It worked perfectly. They were there. Sure, the jutsu they performed right now isn't perfected and therefore it just looks like flames coming out of mouth. They still don't have control over the intensity or direction of those flames. They still need perfection. Naruto whined inwardly at his performance right now. He cursed for his large chakra reserves and how hard it was for him to control his chakra reserves. Yes, he did have decent control over his chakra. But, because of the large amounts of chakra, he always had to practice more so that he will have better control over his jutsu. Wait a minute. I kept only very little chakra in it. The jutsu requires a lot of chakra to make it devastating, right? Then if I keep much more chakra than I actually do for other fire jutsu I have, will I be able to get better handling of it and master it soon? A thought came in Naruto's mind. He thought of giving it a shot. Naruto then drew much more chakra than before. He took a deep breath again and then let out sharp flames out of his mouth. But he couldn't, as he noticed he was having a hard time to compress those flames. So, the higher the chakra I keep, the harder it gets to compress it. Looks like this jutsu isn't that easy to master. I am going to need a lot of time to master it. Naruto groaned inwardly again. He was excited to learn a new jutsu, but he always had very less patience when it comes to learning them. He wanted to learn things as quickly as possible. He then went toward Sasuke. This is harder than I accepted, Sasuke. Man, you nailed it quicker than me. Probably like 2 weeks of practice, and I am sure you will get quite proficient with it, said Naruto, a bit disappointed at his own attempts. Sasuke just smirked at his comment. Both of them laid on the ground after that and remained there watching clouds pass by on the sky. Naruto, you can actually use your shadow clones to master this jutsu quickly, Sasuke said suddenly as he stared at the clouds. Naruto didn't get what Sasuke said. He was thinking about it. Of course, how could I forget it? I can use them to train quickly. Naruto cursed himself mentally for his absent-mindedness. Both of them came to know about the Shadow Clone's jutsu other uses long before their Genin exams. They used it to learn their jutsu quickly. So that means I am creating Shadow Clones and then let them train along with me so that I will be able to get all of the training they did when they dispel, said Naruto to himself excitedly. Naruto then got up from the ground and got into the clearing. He decided that he is going to use his shadow clones and get better at this jutsu in no time. He quickly held an all-familiar hand sign and then 50 shadow clones appeared beside him. He turned toward Sasuke and noticed that Sasuke passed out already from exhaustion due to the taxing amounts of chakra the jutsu used for him. Naruto then grinned and started to practice his jutsu. He was going to master this jutsu as soon as possible. All of his clones were constantly trying to do the jutsu and the clones started to dispel when the chakra in them ran out. Naruto had to produce more and more clones over time and he had to practice himself too. To be honest, even though he had large chakra reserves, he was already feeling it. He was feeling a little bit of tiredness due to large amounts of chakra usage. He kept going at the jutsu for quite some time and it was already evening and the sun was setting. Naruto then decided to know his overall progress and finally dispelled all the clones at once. With the amount of huge information that hit him, he had an information overload and he felt quite dizzy. Arg! That hurts like hell, Naruto shouted inwardly. He then caught a hold of himself and then cleared his mind. He then closed his eyes and then tried to do the jutsu by adding considerably higher amount of chakra that he had been practicing. He then gave out those compressed flames and was astounded at the rapid progress he made. If he was going to train at this rate, he was going to learn jutsu in no time. Hell! The shadow clone jutsu helps a lot, thought Naruto happily. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. The fire from his mouth completely annihilated 8 dummies in front of him, and he was very happy at his progress. He grinned and then passed out for that day. He had enough. Flashback end. Yes, I did really get that jutsu in 3 days. I finally used that in a battle. I am happy it saved my life, thought Naruto as he smirked a bit, still flaring his Sharingan. By all means, the injuries he sustained were much more fatal for a shinobi. But we are talking about Naruto here. His fluffy friend Kurama has already started doing its job by healing him up. Naruto, after taking few steps, reached to his team and then smiled at them. He gave a weak nod and then decided to speak. Kakashi-sensei, I think I went a bit overboard on that last jutsu of mine. I think we have to hurry out of this place. There will reinforcements coming soon enough. I am pretty much in no shape to fight right now, and I think the same is with you, said Naruto in a weak voice. He was really tired now and really wanted to get out of this place. He can't fight one more battle again. However, at the mention of going overboard with his last jutsu, the kunoichi started sweat dropping. He calls that overboard? How the hell is he so strong at just 13? Yelled Yugao in her mind. There were a million thoughts right now running in the minds of Yugao along with Kurenai after seeing Naruto's fire jutsu. They both wanted to talk and question him what exactly he is, but both of them knew that their first priority should be getting out of this place. All the teammates gave a nod and Kakashi said, "Let's move out of the place." They all gave a unison HAI and started to head out from the battlefield. All the 3 started to hop on from one tree to another and were going pretty much quickly. Though one of Naruto's legs is injured, he knew he couldn't complain about it. They have to get away from the Fire Country's border as soon as possible. He needs to bear it until then. Even though Kurama was healing his injuries, they were quite fatal, and it is going to take a lot of time to heal for Kurama too, especially when he was moving tree to tree. Yugao got closer to Naruto as he hopped towards him and decided to ask her questions. She couldn't wait anymore. I mean, she is a hardened Umbu, and never in her life she has seen someone fight like this. Hell, she started to doubt herself if she has to face this blonde ninja in a battle. Keeping her thoughts aside, she got beside Naruto, and Naruto, sensing her, immediately turned towards her. "Do you mind if I ask something, Naruto-kun?" asked Yugao a bit curiously. Naruto didn't understand what it was but gave her a nod and said, "Sure, Yugao-san." "What is it?" "How strong are you?" asked Yugao, but with seriousness this time. She knew already he is very strong, but she wanted to know the extent of his strength. Like all people, she was getting curious minute by minute and wanted to know how strong is Naruto. "How strong are you?" asked Yugao, but with seriousness this time. She knew already he is very strong, but she wanted to know the extent of his strength. Like all people, she was getting curious minute by minute and wanted to know how strong is Naruto. Naruto smiled a bit and gave her a curt nod and drifted his gaze away from her. "Honestly, Yugao-san, even I didn't know how strong I was getting. It was always me and Sasuke who trained together for like a year maybe. Since then, today is the first time I am seeing how strong I am for myself. Even I am surprised at the jutsu I pulled out in the last minute. For a second there I thought I was going to die, but I guess my last resort worked out and helped me," said Naruto in a briefing manner. "Also, as you have seen already, I am quite proficient with Fuinjutsu. I have learned majority of it from the Uchiha clan library, and yeah, you need a Sharingan to understand the jutsu they have written in them. I started myself with Fuinjutsu first. said Naruto as he continued the rest of his explanation. After listening to the whole thing, both Yugao was surprised. Kurenai, on the other hand, was already thinking, if Naruto is this strong, then Sasuke is also a no joke for the enemies around them. She started to imagine how strong Sasuke would be. Yugao was right now at an utter loss of words. There was something that was making her more curious. But how did you manage to do elemental training and Fuinjutsu in such a short time and got very proficient with it, Naruto-kun? Asked Yugao. Naruto chuckled at her question and smiled once again. He just looked towards Kakashi, who was also waiting for a reply. He then cleared his throat and said, I can make shadow clones, you know? Also, I have Sharingan and I am able to learn jutsu quicker by understanding the chakra patterns while using them. Both Kurenai and Yugao facepalmed at the obviousness of his answer. Of course, they knew the use of shadow clones in training, but they didn't think when they were wondering about Naruto. But Naruto-kun, aren't you afraid that you might get chakra exhaustion and the beast might dash? Kurenai said, but was interrupted by Kakashi before she could complete. Come on, Kurenai. You are a jonin. You just saw the scale of jutsu the kid just used in his fight with the Jinchuriki to add cherry on top of everything. After using a considerable amount of chakra, he is still standing with us now conversing, said Kakashi in a stating manner. Kurenai's sweat dropped at Kakashi's comment. She then looked at Naruto and saw his face. Naruto was now not in the conversation. He was thinking about something else. Say, Naruto-kun, how many shadow clones can you make? Asked Yugao a bit curiously again. She really wanted to know the numbers right now. I mean, yes, she did see him making use of shadow clones in their mission. But she wanted to know the actual numbers when he trains with them. Naruto got out of his musings and saw her face with a question mark expression. He didn't listen to what Yugao was asking. I am sorry, Yugao-san, what were you saying again? Asked Naruto with that same question mark expression on his face. I was asking how many shadow clones you can make. I mean, when you train, how many shadow clones do you make? Yugao asked again, but this time in much more briefing manner. Typically, I use about 50 shadow clones while I train, I guess. Why do you ask, Yugao-san? Naruto asked Yugao, a bit surprised that she is asking for the numbers. Yugao went dumbstruck just by imagining 50 clones training. It is the most intense training she ever imagined. Naruto is really something else. Hell, he is a big powerhouse. If he uses his Sharingan and keeps training alongside using his shadow clones, he is going to surpass all the strongest shinobis in no time. Yugao thought to herself. She then gave a smile to Naruto and they continued in their journey. Naruto-kun, what is your dream? As a shinobi, I meant. Asked Yuhi Kurenai, and she really did want to know about his dream. She was absolutely stunned on learning about the enigma in front of her. She couldn't help but wonder about him. Me. I want to become Hokage one day and surpass all the Hokages before me and become the strongest ninja, said Naruto with a proud beaming smile on his face. He was very happy that someone else has an interest on him and asked him about his dream. Upon listening to what he said, Kurenai and Yugao were surprised. They expected him to say that he only wanted to be the strongest shinobi. They didn't expect him to say that he will become Hokage when he grows up. Of course, when he was a small kid, he used to go around the streets shouting that one day I am going to be Hokage when I grew up, and Kurenai, along with Yugao, used to listen his words. But they thought it was only a dream during his childhood. So, they were a bit taken off on listening to his dream of becoming Hokage for the Hidden Leaf Village. Both the women smiled a lot, and that smile turned into a laughter. Naruto didn't understand the reason behind their laughter. Hey! What is wrong in it? Did I say something funny? Asked Naruto as he emphasized and pointed his finger towards him. It's nothing, Naruto-kun. You are saying the same thing in the same way you used to when you were a small cute little kid, said Yugao as she stopped laughing. Naruto then blushed at the cute little kid comment and rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and then regained his posture. "We are actually surprised that you still hold your childhood dream and wish to accomplish it," said Kurenai, emphasizing the reason for their laughter. Naruto, on listening to it, just gave a grin and then nodded his head. "I always meant it when I said that I want to be the Hokage when I grew up. I was never messing or joking about it. Because one day I want all of the village to respect me for what I am. I want them to see me for what I am rather than for what is inside me. I want them to see me as Naruto Uzumaki, believe it," said Naruto with that same grin plastered on his face. Kurenai and Yugao saw Naruto fight a Jinchuriki, an S-rank level shinobi nonetheless, moments ago. On seeing him in action on a battlefield, they feared him as a shinobi and for his raw strength and power. But when they saw the grinning and cheerful Naruto in front of them, they couldn't help but melt in the moment. He is like a kid when he talks, but at the same time a force to be reckoned with if a fight comes up. Kakashi just smiled at his student's resolve and mentally agreed that his student is going to accomplish a lot of things in the coming days. But at the same time, he was also afraid that if the dark persona of Naruto becomes the best of him, he might fall into the same path as Itachi did in hunger for power. Imagining a situation like that itself sent chills up his spine. Naruto, on the other hand, kept talking with Yugao and Kurenai about the various ways in which he trained along with Sasuke. They already knew about Sasuke. They knew that he was the Rookie of the Year. But on listening to the training they both did, Kurenai realized that both Naruto and Sasuke are more than what they let on to people. "Kurenai-sensei, can you please keep my abilities as a secret with your team? I don't want anyone to know about my strength until the Chunin exams complete." Naruto requested Kurenai that too in a pleasing manner. Kurenai just smiled at his request. "Sure, Naruto-kun, I promise I won't reveal your strength to my Genin team. You don't have to worry about that matter," Kurenai said in a soft vibe. Naruto then nodded his head as a gesture for Kurenai's answer, and the team continued to travel back to Konoha after that. No one spoke much for the rest of the traveling, and everyone was thinking to reach Konoha ASAP. They do have a lot of reporting to do in Konoha. There is a fight with a Jinchuriki, and then there is a mysterious thing the IWA is doing, which the team didn't come to know of anything yet. Nonetheless, everyone was on their guard, and were alert every moment. After a few hours, Kakashi and his teammates finally reached Konoha in the morning hours after traveling nonstop from Fire Country's border. They didn't encounter anything else in their midway, and they made it back to Konoha without a hitch in between. Nonetheless, the mission, though wasn't successful completely, they did come to know that their assumptions about Iwagakure's suspicious activity in the Fire Country's border was true and gathered some intel. "I guess we still have reporting to do. Man, I thought of sitting back and relaxing reading the new edition of Ika Ika Paradise, but Hokage-sama wouldn't leave me if there is no briefing for the mission," said Kakashi in his usual lazy tone with few fake depressed expressions on his face. "I was asking how many shadow clones you can make. I mean, when you train, how many shadow clones do you make?" Yugao asked again, but this time in much more briefing manner. "Typically, I use about 50 shadow clones while I train, I guess." "Why do you ask, Yugao-san?" Naruto asked Yugao, a bit surprised that she is asking for the numbers. Yugao went dumbstruck just by imagining 50 clones training. It is the most intense training she ever imagined. Naruto is really something else. Hell, he is a big powerhouse. If he uses his Sharingan and keeps training alongside using his shadow clones, he is going to surpass all the strongest shinobis in no time. Yugao thought to herself. She then gave a smile to Naruto and they continued in their journey. "Naruto-kun, what is your dream?" "As a shinobi, I meant," asked Yuhi Kurenai, and she really did want to know about his dream. She was absolutely stunned on learning about the enigma in front of her. She couldn't help but wonder about him. "Me. I want to become Hokage one day and surpass all the Hokages before me and become the strongest ninja," said Naruto with a proud beaming smile on his face. He was very happy that someone else has an interest on him and asked him about his dream. Upon listening to what he said, Kurenai and Yugao were surprised. They expected him to say that he only wanted to be the strongest shinobi. They didn't expect him to say that he will become Hokage when he grows up. Of course, when he was a small kid, he used to go around the streets shouting that one day I am going to be Hokage when I grew up, and Kurenai along with Yugao used to listen his words. But they thought it was only a dream during his childhood. So, they were a bit taken off on listening to his dream of becoming Hokage for the Hidden Leaf Village. Both the women smiled a lot, and that smile turned into a laughter. Naruto didn't understand the reason behind their laughter. "Hey! What is wrong in it? Did I say something funny?" asked Naruto as he emphasized and pointed his finger towards him. "It's nothing, Naruto-kun. You are saying the same thing in the same way you used to when you were a small cute little kid," said Yugao as she stopped laughing. Naruto then blushed at the cute little kid comment and rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and then regained his posture. "We are actually surprised that you still hold your childhood dream and wish to accomplish it," said Kurenai, emphasizing the reason for their laughter. Naruto, on listening to it, just gave a grin and then nodded his head. "I always meant it when I said that I want to be the Hokage when I grew up. I was never messing or joking about it. Because one day I want all of the village to respect me for what I am. I want them to see me for what I am rather than for what is inside me. I want them to see me as Naruto Uzumaki, believe it," said Naruto with that same grin plastered on his face. Kurenai and Yugao saw Naruto fight a Jinchuriki, an S-rank level shinobi nonetheless, moments ago. On seeing him in action on a battlefield, they feared him as a shinobi and for his raw strength and power. But when they saw the grinning and cheerful Naruto in front of them, they couldn't help but melt in the moment. He is like a kid when he talks, but at the same time a force to be reckoned with if a fight comes up. Kakashi just smiled at his student's resolve and mentally agreed that his student is going to accomplish a lot of things in the coming days. But at the same time, he was also afraid that if the dark persona of Naruto becomes the best of him, he might fall into the same path as Itachi did in hunger for power. Imagining a situation like that itself sent chills up his spine. Naruto, on the other hand, kept talking with Yugao and Kurenai about the various ways in which he trained along with Sasuke. They already knew about Sasuke. They knew that he was the Rookie of the Year. But on listening to the training they both did, Kurenai realized that both Naruto and Sasuke are more than what they let on to people. "Kurenai-sensei, can you please keep my abilities as a secret with your team? I don't want anyone to know about my strength until the Chunin exams complete." Naruto requested Kurenai that too in a pleasing manner. Kurenai just smiled at his request. "Sure, Naruto-kun, I promise I won't reveal your strength to my Genin team. You don't have to worry about that matter," Kurenai said in a soft vibe. Naruto then nodded his head as a gesture for Kurenai's answer, and the team continued to travel back to Konoha after that. No one spoke much for the rest of the traveling, and everyone was thinking to reach Konoha ASAP. They do have a lot of reporting to do in Konoha. There is a fight with a Jinchuriki, and then there is a mysterious thing the IWA is doing, which the team didn't come to know of anything yet. Nonetheless, everyone was on their guard, and were alert every moment. After a few hours, Kakashi and his teammates finally reached Konoha in the morning hours after traveling nonstop from Fire Country's border. They didn't encounter anything else in their midway, and they made it back to Konoha without a hitch in between. Nonetheless, the mission, though wasn't successful completely, they did come to know that their assumptions about Iwagakure's suspicious activity in the Fire Country's border was true and gathered some intel. "I guess we still have reporting to do. Man, I thought of sitting back and relaxing reading the new edition of Ika Ika Paradise, but Hokage-sama wouldn't leave me if there is no briefing for the mission. said Kakashi in his usual lazy tone with few fake depressed expressions on his face. All the other three teammates sighed at Kakashi's antics and just sweat dropped at his comments. They then walked towards the Hokage Tower and then climbed the stairs towards the Hokage's office and finally got inside the Hokage's office. The old Kage was just blowing the smoke out of his pipe while doing the paperwork and muttering that he is too old for this job. The fourth shinobi in the room giggled at his musings, and it was Kakashi who cleared his throat, due to which the Hokage's attention shifted towards him. I hope the mission went all accordingly and there was no encounter. Sarutobi said, but stopped in B/N seeing the state of Naruto's clothes. His eyes immediately widened and said only thing. Explain every detail about the mission, Kakashi. But before that, Naruto, I order you to go and get yourself checked up in hospital. Hi, shouted Naruto, understanding the seriousness in his voice all too well, and left the Hokage building and headed to the hospital by himself. Meanwhile, in a flower shop of Konoha. The weather was perfect today. It is the most ideal day to do anything. But she wasn't in her cheery mood as she is every time. Her face was lifeless and she was depressed. She was sickeningly worried about her blonde-haired friend. To take her mind away from Naruto, she tried to think about something else. Ino then laid her head on the table of her counter and slowly drifted into her own thoughts. After several minutes, her thoughts again came back to Naruto. It has been a day since she has met him or seen him for that matter. She was very much worried about Naruto since yesterday. I hope he comes back home safely, thought Ino while worrying about Naruto. She wanted to meet him and ask him about where on earth he was. She laid on her counter just like that and closed her eyes for a moment, remembering yesterday's events. A day ago, Ino went to Naruto's apartment in the afternoon and found that he isn't in there. She tried knocking the door, and when there was no response, she felt strange. She then thought about the places where he could go. She searched for him everywhere. She went to the training grounds where they trained. She went to the top of Hokage's monument and searched for him. But she couldn't find him anywhere. She decided she should go and meet Sasuke and inquire about Naruto with him. She then reached the Uchiha clan compound and then rang the bell of Sasuke's house. Sasuke slowly came towards the door yawning and opened the door of his house. He saw Ino with lifeless eyes. What is it, Ino? Sasuke asked in his usual monotonous voice. He was sleeping soundly and wanted that sleep to continue, but he didn't expect a guest, nor did he know that she was coming. Ino just awkwardly waved at him and thought Sasuke sleeps in the afternoons. I expected him to train. Hey, have you seen Naruto around? He isn't there in his apartment. I have tried to search for him on his usual spots, he isn't there either. Ino then asked immediately as she left her thoughts and came back to the world. Sasuke, on listening to what Ino said, perked up and his expression changed. He then replied that nope, I haven't seen him. The last thing I knew about him was he came to your house last night for a dinner. The Hokage might know something, Ino. Maybe he is sent on a mission, who knows, Sasuke said very casually. Thanks. I will check with Hokage-sama, said Ino as she left for the Hokage building and decided to ask the Hokage. Sasuke then closed the door and decided to go back to his slumber and head towards his bedroom. Ino after some time reached the Hokage building and went inside to meet the Hokage. She then went into his office and saw him there doing the same usual paperwork he does every time. Upon noticing Ino in the room, the Hokage gave her a warm smile and then wanted to ask her what was the matter. Hi Ino-chan, what is it? Asked the age-old Hokage, in that same lively tone he always has. Hokage-sama, Naruto isn't in the village. He didn't say me anything about going out of the village. Was he sent on a mission? Ino asked as she came straight to the point. The Hokage understood there is no point in lying to her that he might be in the village somewhere. She already searched for him. He then blew the smoke out of his mouth and gave a sigh. He is out on a classified mission, Ino-chan. I am sorry that I can't say anything more than that to you. Also, you are not supposed to say anyone else that Naruto is on a mission. I hope it's clear," said the Hokage in a stern manner as he again exhaled the smoke out of his mouth. Ino just nodded her head and then went back to her home, understanding what the Hokage said, and then started to think what the mission could be that Naruto is on. But she was worrying and got dull nonetheless. Back to the present. I wonder what is taking Naruto so long. Is it a high-rank mission that he is on? Hokage-sama said it is classified. I hope he will come back all right, thought Ino, but she was worrying very much about him while imagining the worst things that could happen to him and shed few tears on imagining them. She kept wishing that he will come back safe and sound and they could be doing their mission as a team. She was getting really worried about him. With Hokage and Kakashi along his team, he used only one jutsu to finally put down the IWA Jinchuriki and ended their fight, and that is the end of what has happened in the mission, Hokage-sama, Kakashi said as he finished explaining the whole events that transpired in his mission. He explained each and everything that happened in the mission, including every minute detail. The Hokage, while listening to the whole mission being debriefing, particularly during Naruto's fight with Iwagakura's Jinchuriki, he had chills down his spine. Hiruzen Sarutobi couldn't believe the words he was listening when he heard that Naruto used one single jutsu to completely annihilate and put down the Jinchuriki. He couldn't believe that one of the strongest shinobi of Iwagakure was defeated by a genin of his village with one single jutsu. He wanted to know what exactly this jutsu was. Which jutsu did Naruto use? Hiruzen asked in a hasty manner. He wanted to know it. He couldn't believe what he was listening, not even one bit. Yes, he did know that Naruto was very strong. But when he heard from Kakashi that Naruto fought Rashi, all alone by himself, without the team's assistance, he was completely blown out of his mind. He wanted to know the extent of Naruto's power. The jutsu Naruto used is the fabled Gokumakyaku no Jutsu Hokage-sama, Kakashi said with a serious expression on his face, and the whole room was filled with tense atmosphere. Upon listening to what Kakashi said, Hiruzen was completely struck, as he recollected the fabled tales and memories of the Madara, the greatest Uchiha and the rival to the strongest shinobi that has ever lived. He couldn't believe his ears at this moment. Heck, he was thinking that he might be in a dream and he would wake up any moment out of it. When Naruto used the jutsu Hokage-sama, the whole forest around us along with Rashi was set ablaze in broad daylight. Hokage-sama, the level of destruction the jutsu caused is something unimaginable. Hokage-sama, what makes it more intriguing is the fact that Naruto was able to control his Bijou chakra and do the jutsu at the same time. Honestly, if I have to say, Hokage-sama, Naruto is the strongest shinobi after you in this village, said Kakashi as he explained everything and said about things in his mind. Hiruzen, after listening to the whole thing intently, came to know about the real strength of Naruto. Naruto right now is too strong as a shinobi. The only thing he lacks is the experience in the battlefield. After thinking and taking in a lot of things, Hiruzen gave out a sigh and exhaled the smoke. Thank you for briefing the mission, Kakashi. You and your team can go now, said Hiruzen as he closed his eyes and got up from his seat. Kakashi and their team nodded their heads and left the room. Hiruzen, on the other hand, was perplexed. He didn't know the lengths of Naruto's potential. Now he started to think about Sasuke too. If Naruto and Sasuke have been training together so much, then by no means Sasuke would be a less of a shinobi to Naruto. From what he knows, Sasuke and Naruto are rivals and partners in their training. So, he is yet to know about the true strength of Sasuke. He then kept gazing at the village through the window, and kept wondering about what kind of shinobis Naruto and Sasuke going to become in the days ahead. With Naruto at the hospital, Naruto reached the hospital of the Konoha. He had a disinterested expression on his face. He didn't like hospitals since he was a kid. Whenever he used to get beaten up on October 10th, he used to get admitted in the hospital, but he never let them discharge him. He used to run away from the building. But right now, he can't complain much. He is in a bad shape and he needs medical care. He slowly walked inside the hospital, and upon noticing him there were scowls in few people's faces, while few people plainly ignored him. Naruto, who already got used to it, didn't bother about them and went to get himself checked up. I need to get myself checked up. I am a genin ninja, Naruto said to the receptionist. The receptionist was engrossed in her work so much that she didn't even bother to look at him. She just pointed her fingers towards a room and said, "Over there." Naruto just nodded his head and went into the room. There was a young girl who might be a few years older than him. She was looking very beautiful and he couldn't help but admire her beauty. She was having blue eyes just like him, but a bit paler compared to his. She had purple color hair that was tied in a bun, and by looking at the size of the bun one can say she is having really long hair. She was having earrings that were in the shape of sunflowers, but in red color. She looked amazing. If there was someone he knew that looked this beautiful or could compete with her, it was Ino. The girl, on the other hand, couldn't take her eyesight of his body. With Naruto's jacket completely torn and tattered, his body was very much visible. To say it, he was half naked. His hair was completely messy and he looked very much rugged. But as she kept seeing his body, she noticed the bleeding stains on his chest. She immediately got out of her thoughts and came back to the moment. Naruto slowly walked and sat in the seat to get himself examined. The doctor was now able to see the cut that has happened to him as he was close to her. How on earth is he able to walk around as if nothing happened to him with such a serious injury? Moreover, it is also healing by himself. Is it a Kekkei Genkai he has got? The doctor thought. But she decided to deal with the situation in front of her first and heal him up before thinking all these. She just smiled at him, and soon enough her palm started to glow with the green light. She gave a nod and Naruto gave a nod, gesturing her to go ahead as he removed the tattered, jacked, and broken mesh under him. While healing him, she tried to talk to him. "Hi there, my name is Mami Tanaka. I am a newly appointed doctor here. I just completed my training few weeks ago. But don't worry about my ability, I can heal you perfectly." She said the last part in a joking manner. Naruto just chuckled at what she said and then decided to introduce himself to her. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am a freshly minted genin. Guess we both are new to our work and we have something common. Nice to meet you," Naruto said in a light-hearted manner, trying to keep the conversation up. She just smiled at him and then stopped as she healed him up. "Nice to meet you too, Naruto-san. I guess the injury in here is completely healed up. Do you have any other injuries that need to be healed?" Mami asked him. Naruto then showed his right leg and she started to heal up the injury even there also. The rest of the time they both were silent as she healed him up. After a few minutes, which felt like eternity, the healing was completely done and Naruto felt relieved. Mami then simply smiled at him at the end. "So Mami-san, am I in a shape to go for a new mission?" Naruto asked as he felt he was all fixed up. Mami kept a disbelief expression on her face. No, you can't go. Your body still needs time and you need at least 3 days of rest to let your body completely heal," Mami said and denied him on his face sternly. Naruto just sulked for a minute but again chirped up. "Mami-san, you are so beautiful, you know that?" Naruto said, smiling. It wasn't in flattering manner, but he was saying it genuinely. Mami blushed again at his comment and said, "Thank you, Naruto-san, but don't you think flirting with a doctor in her room's a bit inappropriate?" Mami teased Naruto. Naruto's expression completely changed. No. I wasn't flirting with you. I was saying it genuinely," Naruto replied back. Mami then chuckled, seeing his face changing into different expression and the way he reacted to it. "It's okay, relax, I was only joking." You know what, even you look a lot handsome, Mommy said to Naruto, smiling again. Naruto blushed at the comment. It was the first time some girl was actually complimenting him. Mommy-san is being so nice to me. Is she being nice to me because she doesn't know about what I hold inside me? Naruto thought to himself. Hey Naruto-san, are you there? Are you there? Mommy waved in front of Naruto as he spaced out. He was really thinking about it deep and was lost in his own thoughts. I am sorry, Mommy-san, I was thinking something else. What is it? Naruto asked Mommy back with a sheepish grin plastered on his face. He didn't know she was talking to him. He was lost in that moment. I was asking, why do you have two different chakras inside you? One felt warm and enticing, while the other one I didn't know how it felt like. But I can say it is very potent and powerful. Mommy asked him as she explained about what she felt when she was healing him up. Naruto realized that according to her explanation, the other chakra source belongs to his Bijou. He didn't want to say her that he was the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. So, he just acted as if he didn't know about it, and decided to steer the topic. I don't know. I never felt it myself. So, I guess I can't say you much about it, Naruto said while he acted as if he didn't have a single clue about what she was talking about. Well, let us just forget about it, Mommy said to Naruto with a smile. She then extended her hand for a handshake and once again said, My name is Mommy Tanaka. I am pleased to meet you. Shall we be friends? Naruto was surprised at what she asked. He just melted in that moment and shook hands with her. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Pleased to meet you and let's be friends, said Naruto cheerfully with a grin plastered on his face. Hey Mommy-chan, is it okay if I call you Mommy-chan? Naruto asked a bit sheepishly on changing the honorifics behind her name immediately. He was rubbing the back of his head. Mommy just giggled at Naruto's antics. He was really an interesting person. It's okay Naruto-kun, you can call me like that, she again said with a bright smile on her face while nodding her head in acceptance at the same time. Naruto also smiled and nodded his head as a gesture. So Mommy-chan, since I can't go out on missions for 3 more days, I am going to be free. So why don't we both meet up after your work finishes? Naruto asked Mommy in his usual cheerful ringing voice. Sure, why not? My work finishes at 4:30 today evening, Mommy asked Naruto as she got up from her chair and stood to talk to him. Fine then, I will come to the hospital at 4:30 p.m. today. See you, said Naruto as he walked out of the room with a bright smile on his face. Naruto then got out of the hospital very happily. He made a new friend today again. Man, Mommy-chan is really nice to me. I think we will be good friends in no time, Naruto thought mentally. She is also pretty and beautiful. Kurama said in his mindscape, yep, she is pretty and beauty. Whoa. Hey Kurama, I didn't mean it that way, come on, give me a break, we just met, Naruto said to Kurama in an anxious manner at the accusation Kurama was making indirectly. Whatever, kid. I am going to sleep, said Kurama as he went back to sleep. Naruto then muttered something about his fluffy friend sleeps too much. But Mommy-chan is really beautiful, Naruto thought once again and smiled, remembering her face. Kurama didn't say anything this time, but just smiled in his style. As Naruto walked out of the hospital, the first thing he remembered was Ino. What would Ino be doing now? I should probably go and check on her, thought Naruto, and then immediately headed in the direction of Yamanaka Flower Shop. He ran roof to roof in a hurry to meet her and then finally reached her shop. He panted for a bit and then opened the door of the shop. He was going to talk to Ino and explain his sudden disappearance, and for that he need to prepare something first. As he opened the door, the shop bell rung, and on listening to it, Ino said, "Welcome to Yamanaka Flower Shop," in a lifeless manner rather than in her usual cheery tone. "Hey Ino, you have to be more cheerful when a customer comes to the shop, you know," said Naruto in a joking manner. Upon listening to the voice, Ino immediately lifted her head to see the boy about whom she has been worrying about since morning standing in front of her, waving his hand. Her face immediately brightened and there was a big smile on her face. "Naruto. It's you," said Ino as she came and hugged him. "Hey Ino. What is it? What happened?" Naruto asked, a bit worrying about her. "Shut up, you idiot. I was so scared about what could happen to you when Hokage-sama said that you were on a classified mission." "Baka," said Ino to silence him up while crying. She couldn't hold her tears back when she saw him. At that moment she didn't care about anyone else other than Naruto. Naruto simply returned the hug back as he didn't know what to do. He simply hugged her tightly, reassuring her that everything is fine. "Shoo. Ino, don't cry. You don't look good when you cry. Calm down. I am here perfectly all right," said Naruto in an attempt to calm her down. Ino just nodded her head but didn't lose her grip on him. They remained like that for a while. It has been a week since Naruto got back from his last mission in the border of Fire Country. His encounter and fight with Iwa's Jinchuriki, though rather wasn't fruitful or helpful for them in the mission, it at least let the team get out of it alive. He was also a bit proud, because of the fact of him being able to defeat a trained and hardened Jinchuriki without using Manjikyu, and by limiting his prowess to only his Jinchuriki capabilities. Also, on returning back and meeting Ino, he came to realize how much he worried Ino. But he couldn't help his situation. He was on a classified mission and he wasn't supposed to go around telling people about everything. Naruto, however, was happy that there was someone as Ino in his life who was really worried about him and his well-being. But internally he beat himself up about worrying Ino so much. He should have at least told her when he would be getting back to E Village. But thinking back about Ino, Naruto couldn't help but smile and feel happy. Her presence itself brought warmth in Naruto's life. She was really important to him, and no matter what happens, he swore that night that he was going to protect Ino at any cost. Although there was a thought in his head that always loomed over since he returned from his mission. "Ino-chan was so worried about me, but why did she? I mean, yeah, I know that we both are good friends and are pretty close, even though she didn't have to cry and worry about me so much." Naruto pondered in his own thoughts as he got himself lost in his musings, as he didn't understand why Ino had to cry. "You are the densest person I have ever met, Naruto. That girl outright loves you. She doesn't even think of hiding the obviousness in her feelings, be it in her actions or the way she has been expressing them." "Hurry up and Clay Dash," said Kurama as both of them started a mental conversation, but was immediately cut off by Naruto, who didn't even want to think of Ino loving him. "Shut up. Kurama, why are you always constantly worried about my love life? And moreover, Ino-chan doesn't like me that way, and I am sure about so. End of discussion and no more arguments," said Naruto as he simply quit his mindscape and left the place. He never understood why his fluffy friend always said or interfered in his love life, for that matter. Naruto was happy that he has Ino in his life, but he always thought her as his friend. He never thought of turning what he has with her into something more than friendship. Sure, when talking in a third-person perspective, Naruto and Ino had quite a few romantic and emotionally intimate moments, be it him comforting Ino or the other way around, yet they didn't change the bond as of now though, at least for Naruto. Keeping all these thoughts aside, Naruto decided to concentrate to the task in his hand first. The Chunin exams were going to start in a week. Then Naruto drifted into yesterday's memories. Yesterday, in Team 7 training grounds. Kakashi has called for his team right after he got enough rest after the tiring and gruesome mission along with Naruto. He called his Genin team to their training ground to inform them about the upcoming Chunin exams that were going to happen in Konoha. Kakashi was very proud about his team for that matter. After witnessing the skills of their Genin in the Wave mission, Kakashi realized that his team was having skills more than enough to be a Chunin. Both Naruto and Sasuke have proven what they can do and extent of their strength in one mission. Naruto, though, was a much bigger surprise for Kakashi. As he saw him battle a completely trained Jinchuriki and emerge as victor out of it, he couldn't help but feel amazed and proud at the display of his student's strength. And coming to Ino, though she didn't have much raw skill like the other twin in their team, she was tactical and also synced well and maintained a good team dynamic with them. She just needs more time to train and improve her shinobi kills. All in all, Kakashi felt that his team was ready to participate in the Chunin exams. And as of now, the genin of Team 7 were waiting for their sensei. Of course, Kakashi, being Kakashi, never comes on time. It is only wishful thinking for someone to expect him to be on time. It has been about 15 minutes since the genin arrived to the training grounds and have been waiting for their eternally late sensei. I swear one of these days, I am going to lose my nerve and do something I shouldn't, because of Kakashi-sensei's punctual behavior, said Naruto with a pinch of sarcasm at the last line. He couldn't help but get furious about his sensei. He always keeps the team waiting, and when asked why he was late, he either gives an apology with a lame excuse and shrugs it off as if it is nothing. Listening to Naruto, Ino just chuckled. It's not because it's funny, but because it is the way Naruto vented it out. She didn't know why, but when Naruto got frustrated and said things out loud and did things like these, a smile always crept up her face. Nonetheless, she controlled her laughs and simply nodded her head, agreeing with Naruto. Yeah, you are right, Naruto. It gets me on my nerves sometimes too, said Ino after stopping her chuckling. You bet, said Naruto as he turned and looked at Ino. Although he has to admit that when he saw her chuckling at his comments at his sensei, she was looking rather cute. I agree with you, Naruto. Even I am getting tired of Sensei's tardiness and his rather punctual behavior, said Sasuke, going and agreeing with Naruto's anger, as he even justified his feeling about his Sensei's punctuality. But hey, why do you think he might have called us for? I mean, we were given off. Naruto himself returned along with Kakashi after a mission, asked Ino, as she tried to reason herself. She was wondering though. On hearing that Naruto went to a mission, Sasuke realized it was during that time when Ino came to his house for Naruto. Even though Sasuke realized it, he looked at Naruto and gave a sign that said, "We need to talk." Naruto, on noticing what Sasuke was trying to say, just nodded his head and agreed to talk about it later. I think it would be for Chunin exams, Ino-chan. Kakashi-sensei might have called us here to inform us about them. Out of all the things, this is the most probable and possible, according to me at least, said Naruto with his usual excitement in his voice and with a small smile. I guess yes. Even I thought the same thing. It might be for the Chunin exams, said Sasuke as he went in motion with Naruto's opinion. Sasuke felt a bit happy though. He was happy that the Chunin exams were coming and he would know his skill and where he stands. And so was Naruto. Ino, on the other hand, couldn't help but agree. After all, she just heard the same thing from Sakura recently. I think yes, you both are right. Even Sakura was saying me about Chunin exams recently. I guess Kakashi-sensei has finally decided to nominate us for the Chunin exams, said Ino as she voiced her opinions. And then the three genins' conversation continued as they started to talk about other random things happening around the village. As they were in their conversation, Kakashi appeared in front of them via a shunshin, and there were few leaves swirling around him. Yo, said Kakashi in his usual tone and with his signature eye smile under his mask. He was also having three forms in his hands. On noticing them, all the three genin realized it was forms, entrance forms for their Chunin exams. Seeing that all the three genin were in glee and were excited, I called my genin here to inform them about the Chunin exams that were going to commence this week. And yep, I did nominate you people to participate in these exams. Here you go. Take these forms and fill them if you feel you can participate in the exam, said Kakashi as he handed his team the forms in his hand, still smiling. These exams are going to be in Iwagakure this time since they will be hosting it, said Kakashi in his usual flat tone. Listening that the competition is going to be in Iwagakure, the genin got all the more excited. But something else struck Ino. But sensei, doesn't Konoha and IWA hate each other because of the previous ninja war? What if they try to pull something on our shinobi? Ino raised her question as she pondered about it when Kakashi was mentioning about the exams taking place in Iwagakure. Ino sure knows history and the way of villages, nothing less can be expected from her, thought Kakashi, as he felt a bit surprised that his student knew about her village's condition with Iwagakure. Yes, Ino, what you said is true. The Chunin exams are conducted every time so that each village gets to display their military strength through their genin. And there is always the rule for the hosting village to take care of the other nation's shinobi, since anything happening there would bring bad name in shinobi politics. And so there won't be anything IWA can do to pull or harm our shinobi, said Kakashi as he explained in detailed manner to Ino. Even Naruto and Sasuke were listening to Sasuke very much intently, and so nodded their heads in the end as they understood what Kakashi was trying to say. Well, that is it. Oh, and by the way, we are going to start to IWA tomorrow evening along with other teams of our village, so I suggest you to pack quick, said Kakashi, and then disappeared in swirl of leaves again, leaving the genin all to themselves. Hey, aren't they supposed to inform us ahead of time? How do they dash, said Naruto, but was cut off by Ino before he could speak. Actually, Naruto, we were supposed to know about the Chunin exams like 3 weeks before. It was Kakashi-sensei who forgot to inform us and is doing it now, said Ino as she sweat dropped at Kakashi's punctuality in delivering the message to them that was essential. What? Shouted Naruto. It is just that he was baffled about the fact that they have to start traveling tomorrow to Iwagakure. He felt that it was so sudden. Of course, it isn't like he isn't ready for the exam, he is far from it. He just questioned how can it be so sudden. He was wondering how could Kakashi be so late even in delivering the info. Back to the present. Naruto glanced at the clock in his apartment as he packed the things he needed to buy, sealing them in storage scrolls. He noticed that it was already time and he needs to get to Konoha Gates and meet with his team to start to Iwagakure. Chunin exams, guess I came a long way since my genin days, Naruto thought mentally as he got out of his apartment. He decided to walk and go towards the village gates rather than jump on the rooftops. He felt like taking in the scenery of Konoha right now. Considering that he is going to be away from Konoha for a while, he felt like he needed to take in the peace and calmness in it. Naruto walked just like that as he immersed himself in the tenderness of the village. He called Konoha his home. It meant a lot to him. As a shinobi, he is willing to protect it with his life. Though he is an orphan, he found his way to find something precious which is worth to fight for in his life and get stronger. And that something is his village, the villagers in it, and the friends he made. Ino, Sasuke, Kakashi, Gigi, my classmates were the thoughts of Naruto as he was thinking about his precious people. He then turned around to see the lively populace of Konoha and the shops flourishing all his way as he moved. To be honest, the village was always filled with calmness and peace for him, and so it is a home for him. Naruto, as he took his time and walked slowly, he then finally reached the village gates. At the village gates were the rest of the genin teams that were participating in the Chunin exams. There was Kurina Yuhi, the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha. There was Asuma Sarutobi, one of the former Guardian 12 shinobi. Then there was Madogai, the green beast of Konoha, or possibly the best taijutsu user. There was Kakashi Hatake, their team sense. Wait, Kakashi-sensei is already here, thought Naruto. Realized he is the only one that was left. Damn. I am late, thinking that Naruto shunshined quickly towards his team and then smiled as his sweat dropped. By the looks of his teammates and others, he understood that he was late. I am sorry, I was lost in the path of life, so had to find my way around. It took me some time. Naruto said in an attempt to give an excuse for not being punctual. But everyone just facepalmed at Naruto's lame excuse. Geez, Naruto, you are slowly turning into Kakashi-sensei, or what? You are being late and now giving excuses like him. At least have the decency to say some excuse made on your own, said Ino as she decided to comment at his lame excuse while also reprimanding him for being late. Hey Ino-chan, come on, it's not like I am so late. You need to cut me some slack here. Naruto whined while trying to cover up his mistake. Are you sure about what you are saying, Naruto-kun? You gave me the same excuse when you were late last time, said Kurenai, chuckling at the young blonde, as she remembered how Naruto excused himself for being late last time when he came for their mission. Naruto, on hearing this, just smiled sheepishly and decided to not talk anymore about it. He didn't have anything else to say or counter for what she asked or more likely said to him. Kakashi was still sweat-dropping at his student. It is okay, Naruto, let's start moving. It is already late, our journey is quite long. We need to reach Iwagakure in 5 days, said Kakashi as he also inwardly chuckled at seeing Naruto trying to use one of Kakashi's excuses for being late. Naruto just nodded his head and started to move along with his teams and significant other Genin teams. Naruto, however, thought. All the Genin teams that graduated from his class were coming and participating in the Chunin exams. Even though Naruto felt proud and happy that all his peers were ready to become Chunin. The rest of the journey continued as he talked with his old friends. He enjoyed talking to Shikamaru more though. Out of all people in his class, he felt Shikamaru was his best friend after Sasuke. Sasuke was more like a brother than a friend. Naruto couldn't help but feel that way. Sasuke also felt the same though. Their feeling of being brothers was mutual. I can't wait to participate in the Chunin exams. I am excited, said Naruto to Shikamaru with a lot of zeal and excitement in his voice. Listening to it, Shikamaru just smiled. Troublesome, you are going to kick everyone's ass there and enjoy beating your contenders, said Shikamaru in his signature lazy tone. Hey, come on Shikamaru, the dead last of our academy, Naruto. Beating everyone's ass, you think it is possible? Asked Kiba, with his brash attitude. Oh, you are going to see, was all that Shikamaru said. The entire Team 9 along with their sensei were thinking the same as Kiba. I wonder what Naruto-kun is going to do to display his youthful flames in the exam, though guy. Even the genin of his team were eyeing Naruto. In fact, listening to what Shikamaru was saying, even Asuma was surprised. Every Jonin sensei in their village how bad Naruto used to perform in the academy, he barely passed the genin exams back in the academy. They didn't understand what Shikamaru said nor believed it. However, unknown to him, both Kakashi and Kurenai were smiling by imaging the fight Naruto will be able to give in the exam. Both of the Jonin also thought about the stoic Uchiha. They knew that by no means Sasuke is weak when compared to Naruto. Kakashi has already seen Sasuke once performing a single lightning jutsu and completing off a bunch of bandits in mere seconds. It was Kurenai though, she was wishing to see Sasuke fight soon in the exams. After listening so much about their training, as Naruto said, she couldn't help but get curious. They have to wait as they will see what the twin dragons of Konoha are going to do. However, it was Naruto who was curious more than others. He didn't understand how Shikamaru saw through him. I mean, no one knew of Naruto's strength other than Sasuke and his sensei along with Ino. How does Shikamaru know about me? He talks as if he knows about my strength. Wait a minute, it must be Sakura. She must have said to her team about that day about me and Sasuke when she saw us training. Naruto thought as he finally realized that it must be Sakura. So, Shikamaru, you know about me, I guess, said Naruto a bit sheepishly as he rubbed the back of his head. It was only Shikamaru, Naruto, and Sasuke now, others were quite a bit away from them. No one could hear what they were talking for that matter. Troublesome, yeah, it was Sakura who told us about you, and Sasuke too. I think only my team knows about your actual strength, said Shikamaru as he also eyed Sasuke in the end. Sasuke just gave a curt nod acknowledging what Shikamaru said. There was a moment of silence between the three as the topic got saturated. Shikamaru, I don't want anyone else to know about us. It will be too much of a trouble as people start to suspect our tremendous growth as a shinobi in a short span of time, said Sasuke after some time in his stoic manner. Yes, Shikamaru, what Sasuke says is true. We need to keep it secret at least until Chunin exams complete, said Naruto as he nodded his head and agreed to what Sasuke said. Yeah, I know that. I was expecting what you both were going to say. Don't worry though, I am not going to reveal anything to people about you, said Shikamaru as he gave a smile and reassured his friends. Both Sasuke and Naruto smiled on listening to him and settled themselves. All right then, let's kick some ass in the Chunin exams, exclaimed Naruto with that cheerfulness radiating out of him and with that ear-to-ear grin. After 3 days, all the genin teams finally arrived to Iwagakure. They have traveled all the way from Konoha and were completely exhausted. They wanted to rest up and get rid of their tiredness. Naruto, being a Jinchuriki, wasn't much tired due to his tenet, of course. Kurama always helped Naruto when it came to endurance and stamina by constantly healing him up. Naruto was happy at least for that one fact. So this is it, we have arrived to Iwagakure. Guess we need to report ourselves and get ourselves into a hotel and rest up, said Asuma Sarutobi, still smoking. Honestly, he never had a moment in his life without a cigarette in his mouth. Yep, we finally reached. We can rest up and get ready for the competition, but before that I badly need a shower. I am tired and want to relax, said Sakura, keeping an exhausted look on her face. Her body was aching like hell, so was of other kunoichi around her. Even I agree, we have been traveling since 3 days, my body is crying for a shower right now, said Ino as she joined along with Sakura and expressed that she couldn't agree anymore. Yeah, me too, I am done with this traveling, said Tintin as she was also having that same exhausted look on her face as Sakura. Lee then turned towards his teammate and then started lecturing and motivating her of burning flames of youth. He was telling her that she needs to push her limits to better herself as a shinobi and things along those lines. So was Guy. Are they always like this? Asked Naruto, turning to Kakashi with a sweat drop over his head. Naruto couldn't understand their tendencies, he found them weird. Yep, they are. Guy is quite eccentric sometimes and likes to rub his youthful ideas and youthful philosophies on people he sees, said Kakashi as he nodded his head and explained Naruto. Well, they are weird, was all Naruto said. I couldn't agree more, said Sasuke as he also sweat dropped and watched the eccentric tendencies of Guy and Lee. As they were all in their own musings, they reached the village entrance and came to a stop. The village guards were already there to question them for their purpose of visit. However, on seeing Naruto, one of the guard felt that he saw that face somewhere else. No, it couldn't be. That kid looks exactly like that bastard Yondaime, the guard yelled in his mind. He was already sending glares towards Naruto. Naruto, though, acted as if he didn't notice. He did know that the guy was glaring at him. Strange, why is he glaring at me? Thought Naruto. Your purpose of visit? Asked the other guard. He was tall, tan-skinned, and was having black hair and looked well-built. He was also having many scars on his hands. We are Konoha shinobi here with our genin team for the upcoming Chunin exams, said Asuma in his usual flat tone. Let me very dash before the Chunin guard of IWA could finish a jonin have appeared in front of them. Let me take over from here. I was already informed about them by Tsuchikage-sama, Midori. Their arrival is as expected, said the new man in the scene. He wore standard IWA uniform of jonin and was having a katana strapped in his side. He looked quite older than Kakashi and looked as an experienced jonin. Upon listening to him, the guards allowed the Konoha 12 along with their sensei. My name is Shinichiku Asame. I have been assigned to look after your stay here in IWA until the exams here complete. Follow me, said Shinichiko in a flat tone that held hostility in it and conveyed no other emotion. The way it went for IWA in the Third Shinobi War with Konoha, it was to be expected. That crushing defeat Konoha gave to Iwagakure is something that can't be forgotten. Sharingan no Kakashi, the man who copied 1,000 Jetsu, Asuma Sarutobi, one of the strongest Guardian 12 shinobi, and their Genin teams. And that blonde brat, it is quite strange that he looks like that bastard Yandame, thought Shinichiko with despise. He hated Konoha the most. Everyone in IWA did that. There were a lot of shinobi who were slaughtered, and everyone of IWA that day lost their dear ones. So it can't be commented upon. Kakashi and others just nodded and followed him as he said. After walking for a bit, they were shown a hotel they were going to stay till the exams complete and were said about other rules and regulation. And with that the evening came by and all the teams were settled in their own rooms and were already resting peacefully in deep slumbers after their dinners. Kakashi was still awake though. He couldn't sleep and was just reading his Ika novel. He then glanced at his team who was sleeping peacefully. There were beds laid along the room and everyone were sleeping in them. He couldn't help but wonder about the strength that Naruto and showcased at such young age. He was quite confident about his team and he felt that they are progressing as a shinobi in the best way possible. As he was in his thoughts, Naruto woke up from his sleep to drink some water and then noticed that Kakashi wasn't sleeping. He then walked towards him and sat beside him. "Hey Kakashi-sensei, is something matter?" "Why are you not sleeping?" asked Naruto in a caring manner. Kakashi just smiled under his mask and then turned towards her as he closed the book. "I was stuck in some memories of past and was trying to pull myself out. Thanks to you though I got out of them quick enough," said Kakashi in his carefree voice. Naruto just nodded and then there was some silence between them. Naruto, however, decided to break the silence as she wanted to ask him something. "Hey Kakashi-sensei, do you think I can become Chunin?" asked Naruto a bit serious. He wanted to know where he stands as a shinobi in front of his teacher. "Well, when it comes to raw skill, you have the potential to become a Chunin, however you do lack experience and the tactful thinking that comes with it. Given a chance and time, I am sure you would be a good Chunin if you get promoted in these exams," said Kakashi as he smiled at the boy. Naruto was confident about himself, Kakashi knew that. But even he needs a push sometimes, and so Kakashi was willing to give it to Naruto right now. Upon listening to what Kakashi-sensei said, Naruto was grinning ear to ear, happy that his teacher was confident enough about him in becoming Chunin. "Thanks a lot, sensei, that means a lot. If I become a Chunin, I will be one step ahead to become the Hokage, and believe it, I am going to kick everyone's ass in this exam and become Chunin," said Naruto, as he was filled with a wave of zeal and enthusiasm to rock in the exams. "That you will do, Naruto." "I am sure you will," said Kakashi as he ruffled Naruto's blonde hair. "You know, Naruto, I have a feeling that you will be the only shinobi of our village who can surpass your father or any other shinobi for that matter. You will be the greatest ninja of all time. I have faith in you," thought Kakashi as he still ruffled his hair. After that, both Naruto went back to sleep and were comfortably sleeping as they drifted into a deep slumber and slept like logs till next morning. After all, tomorrow is going to be a big day for all the genin across the elemental nations. The next day, Naruto was now standing in front of the oldest Kage he has ever seen. That man has to be at least 90 years old. Nonetheless, the man, though looked old, he had the right to be the Kage to the village. He has lived through 3 shinobi wars and yet protects his village. And for that Naruto gave the respect to the Tsuchikage which he clearly deserved. Apparently the age-old Kage has been giving a small speech to enlighten the younger generations and make them understand the responsibility they hold in their future for their respective villages. Naruto, being Naruto, never had the patience to listen, so he was already getting restless. Ino was standing just beside him and was feeling a bit nervous. Naruto, as he turned towards her, immediately noticed her face with tensed expression. He didn't understand why, but Ino was very much tensed. He guessed it might be due to the exam, but he decided to ask her. "Hey Ino-chan. What is wrong? Do you feel all right? You look all worked up," asked Naruto in whispering manner, as he didn't want to draw others' attention. Ino immediately lifted her head up and then looked Naruto in the eyes. For a second she forgot everything and then immersed herself in those deep blue whirlpools. She always found that his eyes eased her every time. But she immediately came back to world and then simply waved at him, dismissing his comment. "It's nothing, Naruto. I am not tensed much, it's just that, okay, I will be honest, seeing you and Sasuke, it is obvious that I don't stand a chance against you both. I am feeling nervous about this competition." "I may be only a liability to Y-," said Ino, looking at the ground, but before she could complete she was cut off by Naruto. "Come on Ino-chan, I know you are stronger that, don't feel like that, we are a team, we cover our backs right. How much ever strong I am, or even Sasuke for that matter, our team can only be completed by you. And trust me, you are a skilled kunoichi, and you will not be a liability to our team. You should stop yourself short, be confident, our team is going to ace in the exams," said Naruto, still in the same whispering tone as he tried to fix things in Ino's mind and cheering her. Listening to all of it, Ino just smiled at him and then realized that what he was saying is true. She didn't have to sell herself short. Together the three of them make Team 7. "Thank you, Naruto, that means a lot to me, and yes, our team is going to ace," said Ino as she chimed in with Naruto. Naruto just nodded and said, "You bet. We will." By that time the old Kage finished giving his speech and then came into the details about the exam. And as for the exams, there were 2 stages for the exam. Stage 1 would be a survival test in the forest you see around you. The winners of the survival test will be participating in the final stage, which will be a battle between the shinobi in the grand arena. And with that, Genin, I wish everyone all the best and perform well enough to make your villages proud. I shall take my leave." Saying that, the Tsuchikage came out of the dais and left the Genin as he went back to his office. A tall man who looked quite bulky came onto the dais. He looked strong enough to be a Jonin, and Naruto took a correct guess. He is proctor of the exam. "All the Genin over here, please pay attention to me. I am the proctor of you Chunin exams, and my name is Kitsuchi. The first stage of the exam is a survival test, as you have already heard. Each team is given a flag randomly. There are 2 types of flags in this test, one is blue while the other is red. The top 4 teams that reach the end of the forest with each of a blue scroll and a red scroll pass the test. Oh, and by the way, you are going to have only 2 days to reach the end of this forest. I wish you everyone all the best," said Kitsuchi. He was a tall and broad-looking and had black hair. He wore his headband like all other Jonin and had the standard IWA uniform, under which he had red robes that were different to others. He also carried a sword with him. After saying what he had to Kitsuchi, the proctor of their exam vanished away. Soon enough, few Chunin came and handed each team a random flag. "Troublesome, we need to fight now." "Man, I hate this part," said Shikamaru as he received a blue flag for his own team. "Oh, come on, Shikamaru, why don't you move your ass and put some use of it at least for once," said Sakura as she tried to motivate the lazy Nara. "Fine, don't nag me like my mom now," said the lazy Nara as he agreed to fight and participate in the test. "Naruto, we got a blue flag, even Team 10 got the same," said Sasuke as he took the flag that was given to his team and walked over towards Naruto. Naruto simply nodded, and so did Ino. After some time, other teams also got their flags, and then everyone was given a signal to go. And with that, all the teams blasted off themselves into the forest and started to pick their targets in order to get their flags. Same was happening with Team 7. "Hey Sasuke, do you have a plan?" I mean, yeah, they did say us to go. But still, we need to have a plan, right? What about you, Naru? Asked Ino to both the boys and her team, but she was cut off before she could finish, as a kunai flew past her. As shinobi instincts clicked and she quickly dodged it and placed herself on land. They then saw 3 ninjas who are apparently from Amagakure. Surprisingly, all the 3 ninja had the same dress and they were also having an umbrella each in one of their hands. They looked quite sinister, but it is nothing that can make Naruto fear. Wow! Look at the cute little genin here. These mere kids think they have a chance of winning this exam. But I am sorry to crush your hopes, kid. The ninja who was talking didn't have a chance to complete as his face was met with a brutal punch from Sasuke. The other 2 ninjas didn't even see the genin in front of them move. They were blown out of their minds as they saw their teammate get knocked in a flash. You talk too much. You should take your chance and eliminate your opponent when you find your opportunity, said Sasuke in his monotone and stoic voice as he recovered from his position after punching the AIM ninja. Stupid brats. You are going to pay for this. Mezu and Dosu, formation 3-inch, said the ninja who got up and restored himself after taking the punch from Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto could have finished the 2 genin in a flash of blue and yellow if they wanted to, but they waited to see if they really put up a fight. Moreover, they didn't want to reveal their all-out strength so quick. And then the AIM team made a diamond-shaped formation and stood closer to each other. All the 3 weaved few hand signs. Sasuke already had the Sharingan active and so already started to copy the jutsu they were doing. Suiton, Mizurapa, yelled the 3 genin in unison as all the 3 of them led raging waters towards Team 7. Though the jutsu was not on a large scale, it was considerably still powerful. Upon seeing the jutsu unleash itself, the AIM ninja had a smirk on their face. It's over. I pity these Konoha genin. Poor brats, was what the AIM genin Shinko was thinking. Ino was still shocked at the events that happened in front of her. 1 second there was a kunai approaching her, and the next thing she knew there was a ninjutsu fight being initiated between the 2 teams. Naruto simply opened a scroll and then channeled chakra into it. And as soon as he did that, the seal and scroll opened and there was a barrier that was set up around Naruto, Sasuke, and Ino. The water jutsu failed to hit them. Fuin Jutsu, encampment barrier. Naruto yelled mentally to himself. The AIM genin were surprised at what happened in front of them. They expected the newbie genin to get destroyed in their jutsu. Before they could, Naruto Sasuke went through hand signs and then yelled Katan, Gokaku no Jutsu, and then there was a massive fireball that erupted from Sasuke's mouth that went in the direction of the AIM team. The AIM team, seeing it, quickly went through few hand signs and yelled Suiton, Suuji Hinki, and they did that right on time as a water wall emerged in front of them and then it saved them from the fireball that was approaching them. Before the AIM genin knew it, Naruto was already behind them. He caught them off guard and so he used his opportunity. He then opened a scroll to his hands, went in crazy speed as he did the essential calligraphy to make his jutsu work. As Shinko noticed Naruto's presence, he immediately turned around to see him. Naruto was right on time and then yelled Fuin Jutsu, chakra sealing barrier, and as he said that, he bit his thumb and used his blood, and then slammed the ground to make the jutsu work. As he did that, there were seals that reached from him towards the 3 Amagakure genin. As they were caught by the seal, they felt their chakra being sealed off. They understood what was happening. Naruto, on the other hand, didn't get up from his crouched position, and he held his palm on the ground as it was essential for his jutsu to work. Shit, Mezu. This guy is pulling out our chakra. We can't use any jutsu if this continues. We have already used a lot chakra in our previous jutsu, yelled Shinko towards one of his teammates, who could be identified as Mezu now. Naruto was having a smile on his face. They have won this fight the minute Naruto caught them in his jutsu. This is why Naruto respected and was interested in Fuin Jutsu always. It always came handy in the battlefield. It was the most versatile shinobi art according to him. Dosu, Mezu, we can't do anything. This stupid brat's jutsu is not even letting us move from our place. My chakra is being siphoned off completely. Come up with some idea, damn it. We can only do hand signs and do ninjutsu, but I am not having chakra anymore, yelled Shinko as he realized that his chakra reserve was going to become empty any time now, and he might be die if Naruto didn't stop the jutsu he was doing. Realizing that any more than this, the Amigakure Genin would die, Naruto called off the jutsu at the right time. There was barely any chakra in their enemies to even stand, forget about even fighting. Naruto then closely moved towards them and stood there. Shinko immediately pulled out the red flag his team had and gave it to Naruto. Naruto just nodded and simply took it. This is the serious side of Naruto. Sure, he is cheery and talkative when he has to, but when it is a battlefield there is no one who is as serious or stoic as Naruto. He didn't speak a single thing since the start of the battle. Shinko was old enough to understand the face Naruto hard. Here I thought that this round would be easy, thinking that these brats are nothing in front me. Even though this blonde genin is really dangerous, and he used practically 2 jutsu to defeat my team, I can clearly understand that he is still holding back. Dosu was mentally conversing with himself. The moment I saw you three do a water jutsu together to make it effectively, I realized that you can only work as a team efficiently. Individually you don't put up a fight. You should sharpen your individual skills more or else you won't be able to survive on a battlefield, said Naruto as he looked at their incapacitated and helpless enemies. Naruto then simply put a restraint seal on each of them and then left them there. He didn't want any other annoyance right now. After seeing the display of strength, no one in their right mind would chase after this Team 7 again. But Naruto didn't want any chances, so he put a restraint seal on them so that they can't move for a while. I have placed a restraint seal. You won't be able to move for some time. The seal wears off later and then you can be on your way, said Naruto in a stoic manner. The 3 genin just nodded and then Naruto looked towards his teammate. Let's move, Sasuke, Ino-chan, was all he said. He then turned around and walked behind their teammates as they continued to progress towards the end of the forest to complete the round. Ino was not surprised. It was expected from her teammates. Considering what she saw with Zabuza, this was nothing. But there was something with Ino. She didn't like when Naruto gets serious. She wanted him to be that cheery blonde idiot of hers. But Naruto never displayed his emotions in battle, at least that is what she observed. Ino, however, also thought of something else. After seeing the whole fight, she realized that she didn't do anything to help them. Though she didn't get a chance to help them, she knew that she wouldn't be able to defend her teammates with her current skills. She sulked for a moment and then was lost in those thoughts. Naruto then, in no time, was between his teammates and they were already running quick enough. He then turned towards Ino and smiled seeing her. That was a lot easier, Ino-chan. I thought I had to send clones. Our time and energy both was saved, don't you think? Said Naruto, back to being the cheerful Naruto she knew. Ino, who was sad a moment ago, decided to brush it off and then just grinned at him. She then nodded her head in accepting the fact. Yeah. It certainly did get easier for us. Now we have to reach the end quickly. I don't want to be in this forest. I don't like it for some reason, said Ino as she showed distaste in the last part. Naruto just smiled and then said, of course, we will reach the end soon enough if we keep this pace. Though Naruto seemed that he didn't notice the demeanor of Ino, he did saw her sulking. And he already thought of possible reasons. Ino-chan is feeling again about her performance, I guess. I should do something about it afterwards, thought Naruto as he still looked at Ino. Even Sasuke was also thinking the same when he saw Ino sulk there for a moment. After 3 hours of constant running, Team 7 finally reached the end of the forest. Naruto and Sasuke weren't tired for one. They didn't even spend quarter of their energies on the AIM team. They were ready to fight again if they have to. What actually is worrying them, though, is Ino. They both understood that she is feeling something and her demeanor is a bit off even though she talked normally back then. As they reached the end, they saw the forest clearing. There was already a bunch of IWA shinobi standing there. All of the shinobi were dumbstruck on seeing a genin team this quick. They couldn't understand how in the world did they complete the exam so fast. There was Kitsuchi staring wide-eyed at the leaf genin who were coming towards them. He still couldn't believe it how quickly they were able to complete the exam. Was Iwa standards dropping? And within few seconds, Team 7 arrived and stood in front of Kitsuchi. Kitsuchi, realizing they were there right in front of him, shrugged off the other thoughts and decided to speak. "I suppose you have the 2 flags you need," said Kitsuchi. He then saw Naruto showing him them as he pulled them out of a storage scroll where he stored them safely. Kitsuchi just nodded and then decided to congratulate them. "I congratulate you for passing the first round. It is a lie if I say I am not surprised by how quick you completed. You just a new record in the exams. You completed the round in 3 hours 23 minutes 29 seconds. "I am indeed impressed," said Kitsuchi, in a flat tone with no underlying emotion in it. "I think the rumors are really true then. This blonde kid might really be the Yandame's kid, even though I can't say until I see his real performance on a battle," thought Kitsuchi. Kitsuchi for one didn't have any hatred towards Konoha. He used in the past, but he let go of it. Because there were casualties on both sides, and both the nations were equally responsible. He was one of the very few shinobi who liked to think like that in his village. For him, letting go of hatred helped him in life. Naruto, Sasuke, and Ino just smiled at what he said and then nodded their heads. "You will be escorted towards the arena close by. There are rooms, and as well as your sensei, you can rest up there." "I congratulate you all once again," said Kitsuchi, and then left the genin to themselves. And then there came a chunin who said, "Follow me." All the 3 genin of Team 7 agreed and went behind him, and in no time they reached the arena. They didn't mind resting if they could. That would be a bonus, and who would disagree? In the arena rooms, Kakashi was shocked to see his team. He knew they were strong and would most probably be here first before most of the teams. But he didn't expect it to be so quick. "Wow," was all Kakashi thinking. "Hey Kakashi-sensei, we are back. How long do we have for the finals to start?" asked Naruto in his usual cheery tone with a smile on his face. Kakashi then got of his thoughts and then smiled back at him. "Congratulations. I didn't expect you to see this quick, even though. I once again congratulate you. There are still 2 days for the final exams to start. You can relax yourself for a while, I hope so," said Kakashi, still giving one of his eye smiles. "We could rest up a bit, I guess," said Ino. Sasuke gave a curt nod and Naruto just said yep. After that, the entire Team 7 went to sleep and rest up a bit. Kakashi, though, just smiled seeing them and was so proud. "Your team is destined for greatness. Isn't it, Kami-sama?" thought Kakashi as he got back to reading his book. Both the boys went to sleep, however Ino was finding trouble and sleeping. She couldn't evade her insecurity even though Naruto tried to put some sense. It was very obvious now, and there were tears rolling down from her eyes. "There is no point of whining now. I need to get strong and catch up with my teammates. I need to be able to protect Naruto and Sasuke. If I am going to remain like this, my teammates will be far ahead of me, and if that happens, Naruto will get far from me," thought Ino with a hard resolve, and wanted to train harder after getting back to village. Unknown to her, Naruto was awake and he noticed that Ino wasn't sleeping. He understood just by looking her posture. He slowly went towards her and sat on her bed. "Ino-chan, do you want to talk about how you are feeling?" said Naruto with concern and care in his voice. Ino quickly sat up and then looked Naruto in his eyes. They were requesting her to talk and open up about everything. She quickly went forward and hugged him and let herself sink into his arms. Naruto immediately hugged her back, reassuring her. "Shoo! "Calm down and explain me what is making Ino-chan cry," was all that Naruto said as he held her much more tighter in his hug. Naruto was ecstatic now. He couldn't believe his own eyes. He was a genin little over 6 months ago, and here he is now, standing in an arena full of crowd for the Chunin exams to begin. Sure, Naruto by far is the strongest shinobi in his village after Old Man Hokage, in terms of talent and strength that is. To be honest, he and Sasuke are on an equal footing if Naruto doesn't use his Manjikyu. Most of their skills were pretty much equal in terms. Whenever they both had an all-out taijutsu spar, it would always be a stalemate. If Naruto wins one fight, then Sasuke would win the next one. That is how it goes. However, Sasuke himself knew that fighting Naruto with his Manjikyu is just a one-sided battle. Naruto would emerge victorious any given day and time. But despite all of that, both of them were eager today. After all, today would be the day they both would be testing their strengths against the best genin opponents the nations had to offer. Finally, the showdown begins, thought Naruto as he assembled with his team along with other genin from respective villages. In front of them stood the Tsuchikage. Honestly, the man was more older than his Gigi. He had his back completely hunched. Naruto, though, knew more than that. You can never see a person and determine their strength. He might be old, but he wouldn't be a Kage if he wasn't strong. That is what he thought upon seeing him for the first time during the first stage of exams too. Congratulations to each and every genin present in this arena. You really are the best genin from your village, and hence you have a duty toward your village. As you all know, Chunin exams are conducted in order to display a village's military strength and the potential its younger generation is having. And hence your duty here is to fight to the best of your abilities and hold your nation's head high as you are its pride. Without further delay, let us begin the tournament," said the Tsuchikage, who finished his speech and set the exams into motion. Upon his speech finishing, the whole arena roared as the crowd in there shouted in excitement and started to prepare themselves for the showdown. However, many IWA shinobi who came to witness the tournament were setting their eyes on a familiar blonde ninja and recognized him immediately. And they all had only one feeling. "It's that bastard Yandame's son," a collective thought screamed in majority of their minds, who witnessed the Third Great Shinobi War. Be it Jonin or Chunin. Also, the IWA Jonin who heard rumors about Rashid being defeated by a team from Konoha, a team led by Kakashi if rumors were true, were still seething in anger. They were seeing that masked Jonin from Konoha sitting along with his fellow Jonin next to him. Of course, being one of the students of Yandame Hokage didn't help him much either. Everyone who recognized him were giving him daggers of cold glares. Kakashi didn't pay much mind, though he knew it was like this. He was a shinobi after all. Even after all these years, the bad blood between IWA and Konoha still exists. Moreover, he was the third great ninja war hero too. He might not be as famous as his sensei, but with his Sharingan during the Third Great Shinobi War, he was giving quite the run for money to his IWA opponents on the battlefield. Konoha had their fair share of prodigies, and the coming generations are already having 2 of them as we are speaking. Kurenai and Asuma along with Guy were also having a collective expression on their faces and ignored the glares. Right now, Kurenai and Guy were a little sad that their teams didn't get past the first stage. They simply couldn't finish in the top 4 teams that would be contending in the final stage. Guy, upon knowing his team failed to clear the exams, cried a lot and then vowed to train them thrice as harder, and that he shall stroke their flames of youth much higher and will make them splendid shinobi. During the entire conversation, except for Guy and Lee, everyone had sweat drops on their faces. Lee, being a clone of Guy, just shouted any phrase that came to his mind about youthfulness and said that he would do his best and work even harder from that day on. Team 8, led by Kurenai, also quickly resolved themselves to train harder than they did, and that they shall return back the next time the exams are held in their best shape. Hinata and Shino were quick enough to assess their shortcomings, but Kiba was quite loud and brash about his defeat. Eventually, with persuasion from his sensei and his teammates, he mellowed down and vowed that he will work a lot harder than he did before. He steeled his resolve even more upon seeing Naruto and his team going to the finals. In the arena with Team 7, Naruto and the rest of the genin that were on the field just sweat dropped on hearing the age-old Kage giving his speech. I mean, didn't he just say the same thing during the first stage of the Chunin exams too? Nonetheless, Naruto just let it slide, thinking it has got something to do with old age. He then had a smile as the tournament began. He couldn't contain himself any longer. And then a tall man who was in his middle age and appeared to be a jonin of IWA came into the grounds and introduced himself. "My name is Hagahiro. I will be your proctor for this tournament. The rules are really simple. You all fight with your opponents until either one of you is no longer able to continue or dies. If I see a match reaching its result, I might declare the winner and stop the fight. I don't like unnecessary bloodshed. Your matchups will appear on the screen in front of you. The matches will happen in that order. Is everything clear?" said the proctor in an even tone. There was a unison HAI from all the genin present on the field. Naruto then quickly glanced towards Team 10 that has passed the first stage too and then gave them a thumbs up, wishing them good luck. Shikamaru just muttered, "Troublesome, let's get these exams done with and go to Konoha." Sakura then just smiled at her teammates' antics while Choji just nodded his head and then looked up at the screen to see the matchup. Other than Team 7 and Team 10, there was another team from Iwagakure and one other from Kumogakure. The team from Kumo looked quite older than the rest of teams. They might be at least 2 years older than the others. Other than that, the team from IWA was almost the same age or maybe a year older than them. However, much due to Naruto's surprise, the IWA ninja were directing cold glares towards Team 7, specifically towards him. The team had a brunette kunoichi who was fair-skinned and had brown eyes. A boy with messy curly hair and looked fat enough to rival Choji with plump face, and lastly a boy with purple spiky hair with a ponytail. He was carrying an Ninjato on his back, and according to Naruto he was the one who appeared collected among his teammates. He was just having a monotonous expression that didn't give away any emotion. It looked like for him the tournament mattered the most right now. Strange, it's true that IWA lost really bad to Konoha, so it's fine that they still bear hatred for us. But why are they specifically looking at me with a lot of hatred than the rest of my teammates? I don't understand it. I didn't do anything wrong to them. "Hey Kurama, you in there? What the hell is happening around me?" asked Naruto to his furball as he couldn't contain his curiosity anymore. He was getting sick of it too. He needed answers. Kurama, though, didn't reply anything. He didn't want to speak anything right now. Anything that comes across as a satisfactory answer means to reveal Naruto's heritage to him, which obviously the fox doesn't want to. He just tried to play as if he didn't know. "I don't know, brat. Just get of here, let me get some sleep. You have a tournament. Pay attention to it first," said Kurama as he just evaded the question with a smooth lie. Naruto just sighed at his lazy furball partner. "Yeah, sure, you are just a lazy furball who likes to sleep a lot, see ya. And hey, we both know that I am going to wipe the floor here, even without you. So, rest assured Kurama, you are going to witness me be kick-ass," said Naruto as he exited his mindscape after his mental conversation with his bijou friend. Kurama, for his part, just had a smirk on his face with closed eyes. Oh, of course he knows that his container is the strongest genin among all here, even without Manjikyu and his bijou chakra. And then the screen started to spin with the names as it started to randomly match up the shinobi. Match 1, Shikamaru Nara vs Tsubaki Mikage. Match 2, Ino Yamanaka vs Setsuna Mikage. Match 3, Sasuke Uchiha vs Itoshir. Match 4, Sakura Haruno vs. Todoroki. Match 5, Hanayama's Choji Akimichi. Match 6, Yujito Ni vs. Uzumaki Naruto. Upon seeing it, Shikamaru just hung his head in despair. He couldn't believe in his luck. He just had a terrible luck these days. Of all the people present in the stadium, why should it be him on the first fight? On top of that, why should it be a girl? And to put cherry on the cake, why was she an IWA ninja? This is such a drag, troublesome. Why am I the one who is going to fight first? I will just forfeit dash. Before he got to finish what he was saying, Sakura immediately hit him on the head and said, "Stop complaining, Shikamaru, just go and fight for once, damn it, how can you be so lazy?" Shikamaru then muttered, "Troublesome woman," and then walked to the center of the field. "All the best, Shikamaru, show what you got," said Naruto as he too disappeared into the participants' booth. As he reached the center of the field and stood face to face along with his opponent, he just yawned. The crowd booed at Shikamaru's antics and his unmotivated stupor. The girl in front of him too frowned for his behavior. "Crazy Nara. Thinks I am no fight and looks bored," thought Tsubaki. She then said, "I suggest you to take me seriously and quit thoughts like she is just a girl, or else you will regret," said Tsubaki, Shikamaru's opponent, in a cold voice, trying to give Shikamaru a death stare. Shikamaru didn't change the look on his face, instead decided to retort, "Troublesome. I wasn't trying to be an ass over there. I find it hard to deal with women. That was it. Anyways, all the best," said Shikamaru in his usual lazy tone, and yawned once again. After the verbal argument, or so what it looked like, finished, the proctor got to the center of the arena and then just looked at each other, earning a nod from each other. He then said, "Hajime." Upon hearing the proctor, both of the shinobi took their stances. From what Shikamaru saw from Tsubaki's stance, he deduced that she was an offensive fighter. He just sighed once again, and then got serious. And from the looks of it, since she was preferring taijutsu first, he realized that she is more of a close-range fighter. Shikamaru knew that his taijutsu was mediocre. He doesn't have stamina like his fellow blonde genin or Raven one either. He just had to rely on his tactical brain and his clan jutsu. But to test for how long he can manage with her, Shikamaru just took upon the Nara clan's traditional style and then waited for her to move. Neither did anything for good few minutes, and then, after losing her patience, Tsubaki charged forward. Shikamaru then had his full concentration over her. Though he was having eyes on her and started to engage her in a taijutsu dance, he already started to work out the strategies he might be having in his reach to defeat his opponent. Meanwhile, Tsubaki was just planning out her own way to take Shikamaru down. She knew about the Nara clan. They were known to be extremely intelligent and tactful people who would organize the best strategies in winning a fight. At first, she suspected him to stay at long-range distance like all the Nara clan. After all, they were known to be the support and long-range attackers. So, she decided to first engage him in close combat and thus chose this taijutsu bout. By all means, she expected him to evade her attacks as much as possible and then try to distance himself from her immediately she tried to get close to her. To her surprise, he didn't, but instead engaged in a bout with her. That was quite baffling to her. She nonetheless decided to finish him off before he could formulate any plans, using only taijutsu alone. Tsubaki was a hard hitter. That much Shikamaru knew by now. She was hella fast too, he just wasn't able to keep up with her. Troublesome, why is this woman so strong and quick at that? Man, what a drag. I want to finish this quickly and take a nap, thought Shikamaru to himself. And then, as he went through the best way to deal with her in his mind, he found just the one that would mostly get him a win. This is it. This would be the best shot I have against her, Shika thought to himself. There was a left hook from Tsubaki which Shikamaru, upon seeing at the nick of the time, just evaded it and managed to redirect it towards other direction in hopes that she will lose her balance. But to his surprise, she didn't lose her footing and then simply landed a low kick to his knee. Shikamaru parried it with his own leg, but little late than he actually meant to. She was really quick. Because of that, he lost his footing for a moment, and then Tsubaki found an opening. She immediately saw his left part of lower torso to be unguarded. She gave a kick to his torso, and then Shikamaru fell to his side. Even then, he managed to hold himself. God, that hurts like hell. What is she eating to hit so strong? Shikamaru yelled mentally to himself upon the pain he felt shooting through his body. Shikamaru then took out his kunai and started to go at her swiftly, and then both of their kunai clashed. There was the sound of clang everywhere, and Shikamaru knew that if this keeps going on, he would lose. He wasn't meant to fight in close range. They then continued to exchange few blows for few seconds, and Shikamaru knew that he'd put up enough of a show to deceive the kunoichi. After all, that was his plan from the beginning. Shikamaru then simply got out of Tsubaki's reach upon evading her latest kick and started to maintain a good distance between them. She frowned upon seeing him go away from her reach. For someone who is only a rookie genin, you are pretty decent. But hey, I said you to take me seriously, or else you will regret it, didn't I? You thought you could take me on in taiju. Before she got to finish her talk, she saw a kunai thrown at her. She immediately deflected it with her own one and then noticed that it had an explosive tag on it. She immediately jumped away from it and evaded the possible damage she could have as it detonated, as she left the place and landed somewhere she saw a barrage of kunais landing around her, but neither one of them hit her. She even checked if there was an explosive tag around them, but realized there weren't there any. She then got confused at him. She still didn't understand what was happening, and then she noticed something. The kunai that were thrown at her were not the regular-sized ones, a bit bigger than the usual. Before she could collect her thoughts, Shikamaru immediately threw something into the air that appeared to be a smoke bomb. As it reached mid-air, it blasted suddenly to reveal a blinding light for a few seconds. This window would be enough for Shikamaru. First step executed, on to the next one, thought Shikamaru to himself. And then there was the Nara clan's signature Cage Main Jutsu. Cage Main Jutsu, thought Shikamaru as he performed his last and final step. The shadow started to travel farther and farther until it reached the huge shadows caused by the light that was thrown above. And there was the shadow of the kunoichi too. As the light receded and it eventually died out, Shikamaru's shadow was now latching onto the shadow of Tsubaki's. Cage Main Jutsu complete, said Shikamaru with a smirk on his face. But truth be told, he is expending a lot of chakra in maintaining the jutsu, since the shadow he stretched out is quite far. He then slowly walked towards Tsubaki. Replicating his actions was Tsubaki. Damn this Nara brat. How was he able to catch me in his shadow possession jutsu so quick? I couldn't even understand what was happening to me. Cursed Tsubaki mentally as she begrudgingly walked towards the center of the arena, mimicking Shikamaru's action due to his jutsu despite her resistance against it. Upon both of them getting near to each other, she saw two pairs of hands coming from her shadow towards her neck that were ready to strangle her. This whole fight is troublesome. Just quit it now so that we both can leave already, said Shikamaru in his usual lazy tone. Victory has been set for Shikamaru already. Even the proctor knows that he wanted to call off the match. But he was waiting if the IWA kunoichi will surrender herself. Finally, after a huge frown coming on her face, she said, "Proctor, I forfeit," rather begrudgingly. The proctor just nodded his head and then said, "Winner Shikamaru Nara from Konoha." Shikamaru then called off his jutsu and then gasped aside, "Damn, that was tiring. I need a nap," said Shikamaru. And then walked away from the field without paying any attention to the crowd. Though many people in the audience despised Konoha and its ninja, they did know when a ninja is good or mediocre. Upon seeing the Nara handle the fight with a single move, they couldn't argue anymore about which nation had the best shinobi in their next generations. In the arena stands. Wow! Who would have thought that Shikamaru would be able to pull off the fight so easily? He just used one single opening he found and had her in his cage main. How was he able to do it? During the start of the fight, it looked as if Shikamaru was going to get himself beaten to pulp by that kunoichi. It was really hard to think at that time that Shikamaru had any chance of winning his fight, said Kurenai in a shocking manner. She couldn't believe what she saw. There was no flashy jutsu, there was no deep exchange of fierce taijutsu blow. It was just out of the ordinary. In just mere seconds he turned the tides of the match. Asuma had a proud smirk on his face. It was because of Shikamaru, of course. The kid just bagged enough points to get promoted to Chunin. He really showed his battle tactics out there. Shikamaru isn't just a normal kid, Kurenai. After taking my Genin team, I introduced him to Shogi. True, being a Nara intelligence just comes to them, but Shikamaru's intelligence is off the charts. There wasn't even one time I beat him in Shogi after he learned the game. I was getting really curious, and when I got him tested for his IQ, it was off the charts. He is a genius-level shinobi with an unparalleled IQ of over 200. He can come up with the best strategy you could have there in mere seconds, and will be able to execute it to its best when he puts himself to it. The only thing he lacks is, before Asuma could complete, Kakashi continued the drive and motivation to train, with an eye smile of his. Kurenai was in shock though. She knew that Shikamaru and his clan were born intellects. Even his father Shikaku was the Jonin commander of Konoha. She knew all of that. However, upon hearing that he had IQ of over 200, she couldn't contain her surprise. Asuma then continued, Kurenai, Shikamaru is the kind of tactician who plans at least 20 steps ahead of his situation. His mind runs through various scenarios that are possible and then develops a countermeasure and a plan for each of them immediately. Even if his plan backfires or his execution of it doesn't go properly, he always has another best one with him to deal with the situation. That way he strategized everything from the beginning of the match. He finished leaving out the smoke from his puff of cigarette. He first got into that taijutsu fight with the kunoichi not because he felt he could take her on in a straight hand-to-hand combat. He did it to deceive her. Since he is a Nara, she would expect him to stay afar from her and continue attacking her with his shadow techniques. But he went in to fight hand-to-hand combat, and held himself carefully long enough to let that girl think that she will have him beat in no time. Sure, that would have happened if Shikamaru didn't jump away from her at the final moment. Until that moment he had her deceived and lead her on to just use her taijutsu. Upon freeing himself and finding the perfect opening, he used his light bomb to increase the size of shadows around him, and then had her caught in his cage main. Those kunai that were thrown at her were also just to confuse and create a distraction for her. He had her thinking something else and kept her busy for a moment. By the time the girl tried to unlace the situation she got herself in, Shikamaru had her in his jutsu, said Kakashi as he now summarized his battle to Kurenai, pointing out the strategic method Shikamaru chose to fight an opponent who was potentially stronger than him and experienced as well. Kurenai, after listening, understood about what kind of a battle tactician Shikamaru is, and then it made sense. She then realized that Shikamaru would be a splendid shinobi if he had little work ethic and ditched his laziness. She had a smile on her face. The younger generation of Konoha are sure having a lot of potential, and she couldn't wait to see them grow out into fine ninja. Guy, for his part, though, couldn't hold himself back anymore. Shikamaru-kun is indeed an amazing shinobi indeed. He had the battle analyzed right from the beginning and had the upper hand from the start of the battle. I feel he deserves the title of Chunin for his youthful display of such tactical talent, said Guy with fire in his eyes as he admired his fellow Jonin's genin. Kurenai, Asuma, and Kakashi nodded as they couldn't agree more. Shikamaru certainly deserved his promotion. With Shikamaru as he reached the stands, Naruto was there waiting to congratulate Shikamaru. After seeing him defeat that IWA kunoichi, he was elated. That was awesome, Shikamaru. Believe it, you beat her pretty hard. I mean, 1 second you were fighting her in a fierce hand-to-hand combat and the next second you got her trapped in your cage main. You planned it all along, didn't you? Asked Naruto, more of an stating manner, as he high-fived Shikamaru. Sakura was there in the next instant and was beaming with a huge smile on her face. Shikamaru, you really did nice there, said the girl as she praised him for his victory. You were cool there, Shika, you shut her for good. What do you say, Choji? Said Ino as she too joined the chatter. I couldn't agree more, Ino. Congrats, Shikamaru, said Choji as he munched on his bag of chips with a smile on his face. After that, Shikamaru just talked with them for a while, and though it was troublesome, he liked his victory and thus he kept a smile on his face. It was a smile that had a hint of pride and also a sense of accomplishment. After that he left the group to their own vices and then walked towards a seat and sat next to Sasuke. That was a nice fight there, Shikamaru, said Sasuke in his monotonous voice. Shikamaru just smiled and said yeah, it was troublesome. I need a nap, and then fell into the world of slumber as his tiredness took him in. Sasuke, though, just replayed his fight once again in his mind. He couldn't believe the strategic mind the Nara had. He was really good out there. Match 2, Ino Yamanaka vs. Setsuna Miikage. As it was time for the second match to begin, Ino looked out into the arena grounds. She was still nervous though. Sure, last night Naruto really helped her out. Pulled her out of her insecurities. Even then there was still self-doubts lingering in her mind. Enough of that. I can't just remain in her doubting myself and whine. I need to give my all. Winning or losing doesn't matter. I will give my best and will believe in myself, thought Ino, and then had a confident look on her, then turned towards Naruto. Guess it's my cue, huh? Well then I better get in there and prove myself, said Ino with a smile. You bet. Go, Ino-chan, give your best and show how awesome you are. I believe in you, said Naruto. It didn't surprise Ino, though she knew about her fellow blonde. She then walked towards him and embraced him. A bit tight, in fact. Naruto, though, blushed. Not because he wasn't familiar with her hugs. It was because they were being watched by their fellow classmates. He didn't want them to have the wrong idea. She then released herself from him and then looked at Sasuke. He just nodded at her and said, all the best, Ino. And then looked at Naruto as he continued, we believe in you. Ino then nodded her head and left to the arena grounds. Even Team 7 gave her a collective all the best. In the arena. It's better if you forfeit, Konoha, bitch. I won't go easy on you. I will break each and every bone in your body, spat Setsuna venomously at Ino. Ino, for her part, didn't get riled up. She knew it. IWA has always been like this since the beginning towards Konoha Shinobi. She just sighed and then put a fake smile on her face. And that smile infuriated her opponent even more. Why are you smiling, you bitch? Setsuna shouted again. Ino didn't give any response. The proctor then came in and said, Match 2, Ino Yamanaka vs. Setsuna Miikage began. Setsuna, as soon he heard the call, immediately rushed towards Ino and went for a straight punch towards her stomach. Ino, though, wasn't surprised. Sure, taijutsu isn't her strong forte. But she wasn't outright worst in it. She quickly dodged it in time and landed herself right behind Setsuna. Setsuna, though, as if he had seen it coming, immediately raised his right leg, aiming a kick at Ino as he repositioned himself, turning towards her. Ino wasn't able to dodge on time and then immediately got herself struck by his kick. God. That hurts like hell. Even after all that training I did, this guy's punches are faster and stronger. Ino yelled mentally to herself as she fell back. Seeing it as his cue, Setsuna immediately rushed to Ino with a finishing blow. He had an evil smirk on his face, though. That bitch is going to see his wrath today, or so he thought. Ino was able to get up before he could deal the blow and immediately took a kunai out of her pouch and started to use it against him. In response, even Setsuna took his kunai and started to involve with her. But soon enough he was overwhelming her. Ino, upon realizing it, quickly created distance between them and then dropped a smoke bomb to gain a little time and distraction so that she can plan her attack on him. This guy is too fast to deal with. He is hell of a lot stronger too. How am I supposed to defeat him? I am running out of time. What are the possible ways I might be having to fend him off? Ino thought to herself as she tried to analyze her situation. And then, after a few seconds, an idea struck her. Yep, Genjutsu is the best option I might be having with this guy, thought Ino to herself as she started to weave few hand signs. Megan, Koko and Ayarezu no Jutsu, Ino said to herself as she had her opponent caught in her trick. Yep, that guy was now going to see what she wanted him to see. Ino was a Yamanaka. Most Yamanaka had little skill in being a sensor naturally. But Ino trained a little with her dad since she realized that she could sense things around her. And that is how she was able to cast her Genjutsu on Setsuna even though she couldn't see him. She had his chakra signature targeted and then caught him in her Genjutsu. Your little tricks aren't going to work on me, you blonde bitch. I am going to defeat you and skin you alive, shouted Setsuna as he searched for Ino amidst the smoke. And then Ino was preparing something behind the smoke screen. She took out all the kunai she had in her pouch and then attached an explosion note to each one of them. She did it as soon as she could and then went on to throw each one of them towards Setsuna. Setsuna, upon seeing them, quickly evaded as they came one by one and even parried few away from him with his own kunai. Boom! And the kunai didn't stop there, they kept coming towards him for few seconds. Setsuna was thinking how the hell the kunoichi had so many kunai with her. Boom! There was another loud explosion as soon as the explosive notes set off. Seeing that he had enough, Setsuna quickly weaved few hand signs and then yelled Futon, de Tapa. As soon as he said that, a strong gust of wind emerged out of his palm and then the smoke moved away due to the wind. Ino was now visible to him. She was panting a lot and had sweat all over her face. She then rushed towards him and then again had him in a taijutsu fight. They both sparred for a while and then Setsuna was overwhelming her, or so he thought. Isn't this all just a mere illusion of his? How futile. Back in the stands with Setsuna's team. That fool. He still didn't realize that he is stuck in that girl's Genjutsu. Come on, Setsuna, break out of it, said Tsubaki to herself as she saw her teammate fighting nothing but thin air. To many people it looked like he was just performing some katas. All this while her other teammate just looked calm and composed without any hint of emotion on his face. Honestly, how does he keep himself like that? Back in the ground. Ino now saw her perfect opportunity closing in. She waited this entire time, since performing the Megan, Koko and Ayarezu no Jutsu requires lot of concentration and fine chakra control to execute it. She was now at the back of her enemy, so she didn't have to worry about missing her jutsu. Even as she cancels her Genjutsu on him, he wouldn't be able to see her immediately and escape her last trick. Ino then closed her eyes as she canceled her Megan, Koko and Ayarezu no Jutsu. Setsuna now, upon seeing the illusions fading away, realized that he wasn't fighting anyone. He looked for his opponent everywhere and couldn't find her shit. Was that Genjutsu? Damn, where is she? He yelled mentally to himself and looked around. Shintenshin no Jutsu, yelled Ino as she locked her target and performed her jutsu. Soon her body fell onto the ground upon her soul leaving it. Setsuna got hit by Ino's jutsu and then paused his movements as Ino took control over him. He had a smirk on his face. Of course, it was actually Ino who was in control of his body now. Proctor, I forfeit the match, said Ino as she raised her hand in defeat. The proctor, knowing what was happening, simply nodded his head and sighed that one more Konoha genin won the match. Honestly, why is Konoha's next gen so strong? "Winner, Ino Yamanaka," said the proctor as he announced the match result. Ino simply canceled her jutsu upon hearing him announce the victory and then quickly got back to her own body. She then stood up and dusted herself off. Setsuna, though, didn't regain his control back. He still laid there unconscious, and then the medics had to come take him. There was a loud roar of cheers from the arena as the fight came to an end. People were now taken aback by the fight. Who would have thought the girl, despite her odds, take the promising genin of IWA with such tact? It was truly a remarkable display of talent in there. Ino, though, beamed and had a bright smile on her face and then simply walked out of the arena grounds. She then went on to the participants' booth, possibly to rest. She did have a lot of mental strain after all. "You were awesome, Ino. Wow, you really defeated him." "Congratulations," shouted Sakura as she was the first to greet her teammate back into their stands. "Yes, Sakura, guess I was good back there. One person down. I am so happy. And relieved that I am not just a burden to my teammates," thought Ino to herself. She then looked for her blonde crush. Air teammate. She wanted him to praise her, and then, there he was standing right in front of her as he sunshined. Ino then just got a bit surprised at his sudden appearance and then decided to speak. "So, how did I do, Naruto?" she asked him as she stared into his eyes. Naruto was also staring into her eyes, and then after a while he decided to speak. "You were